10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Yeah.
Radiant team back. Ten seconds remaining. Dire team pick.
Riki.
Radiant team pick.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It is our third series of the day for the American playoffs. We have FDL facing up against Void Boys. This is the losers matchup. We are also in the lower part of the bracket. That means these teams, they lose this series, they are out of the American qualifier. They lose their chances to be able to go to Seattle. I'm going to be casting it as well as my good friend Blitz, who has been way too long since we've casted together. And unfortunately, he couldn't be with us here at the hub, but he is here with us in spirit as well as on Skype. How's it going, Blitz?
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Mm-hmm.
Lion.
Dire team pick.
Uh-huh. And now he's no longer being responsible and back at it in Dota. You never really leave. You always come back. What's that Eagles line from Hotel California? You could check out anytime you like. You can never leave. All right.
Seconds remaining.
Jesus. All right. Well, we're gonna start off FDL. Typical bands, except for maybe the Alchemist, but typical bands, and we are going to see a Riki and their favorite support ever, the Oracle, while Void Boys pick up the 1-2 punch of Darkseer and Lion. Purge and I were waxing poetic about the Lion for quite a bit. It just feels like a very solid support. Not necessarily the best supported at one specific thing, but he's always going to be valuable. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's not very pointed when it comes to his strategy, and that it's okay, right? Because that makes him an okay opening support hero, because he doesn't really point your strategy in one direction.
Radiant team back.
Yeah.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think we used to agree that Oracle was he was an okay hero, but he just didn't really fit the meta. And we are seeing that the meta shifting into more of tankier heroes and drawn out team fights. I think that does benefit Oracle a bit. I think the meta is still a little fast for him, but the American region in particular, as you've seen, has they seem to really like the Oracle. FDL in particular, that's their favorite support ever. They pick it up every single time, and it's decent versus Darkseer, right?
Dire team back.
We use the word tempo a lot. Yeah.
Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Right.
team pick.
Faceless Void.
Dire team
Mhm.
pick.
Well, there's a hero that is highly valued by both sides, actually, and it is going to be in the same position that both sides like to have it in. A safe lane farming Void. Both Bisa as well as Padsol like to be able to run the safe lane Void, and it does leave us with potential for combinations here. The Darkseer Vacuum, Earthspike, Chronosphere. We are seeing a bit of a trend here when it comes to some team fight, and it's also a nice initiator for Void Boys to be able to have. But what are your thoughts on safe lane carry Void outside of the team fight potential it gives you? Do you think it's actually as highly valued as it seems to be in this American qualifier? It's not. It's unlikely to die, right? It's.
Slada.
Radiant
Mhm.
team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Mhm. And we're seeing that transition of meta where the safe lane, you refer to it as the dead zones. I think that's a really good descriptive term for it because it gets into your head kind of what it is. It's just a lane that you can't gank. We're seeing that transition into the mid lane sometimes as well, where it's also really valuable to have these mid laners who are also very difficult to kill. We're seeing the rise of a lot of melee mids, actually. Both maybe it's just because Timbersaw has been a huge push into the meta, and because you're running a Timbersaw mid, a melee hero, then certain other heroes like well, I guess it's actually Alchemist was first, right? Alchemist. Then the response to Alchemist is like, oh, Timbersaw is really good versus him, and then the Timbersaw gets picked up, and you see Jug being picked up mid sometimes, and those three heroes are all somewhat difficult to gank as a mid laner because they're so naturally tanky.
Reserve time.
They're hard to kill. They're always going to put out a good amount of fights. I mean, let's not even talk about Timbersaw. I can't even believe that it made it through the second phase. The more that I play with this hero, the more I just realize how unbelievable it can be.
Mhm.
How unbelievable it is.
Both Blitz and I are big Timbersaw fanboys, and for the longest time we were bemoaning the fact that Timbersaw just simply wasn't a hero that could fit into the offlane. And these last two patches, before it came big, we agreed that it can be a hero, but it just doesn't really work in the offlane. Maybe in pubs it does because they don't try and shut you down, but it needs to be a core. And that feels kind of awkward, giving the Timbersaw the 1 or 2 position. But we're seeing as people are trying it out more and more, it really, really does work, especially as he scales into the late game so damn well. Now that he has that Aghanims upgrade and Octarine Core as an item, he's actually so much more effective late game than he used to be when his big heyday.
There's no pickup of the hero in this game, but I think when it does happen...
Oh, sorry. Real quick. I'm getting messages from people that they can't hear you in Dota TV. Can you talk a little bit for me real quick?
Hello?
Okay, you're not going
Hello?
through my mic, so go ahead and just turn on your in-game.
Is it just voice chat team open mic?
Yeah.
Open mic threshold is at 0%?
Yeah, and just make sure the little bubble pops up.
Okay, the little
You'll
bubble
be
has
good.
popped up.
Alright, that means people should be able to hear you. So sorry for those of you guys watching in Dota TV, you now have all the excellent Blitz analysis for you that's available. Yeah, sorry, we didn't communicate that.
Dire team pick.
New setup for both of us.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Yeah.
Reserve time.
And you'll still have
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah. Yeah, it used to be like it was picked up against Alchemist, and then it, like people started like I think realizing it was like I could draft this not just versus the Alchemist, I could draft this against so many other heroes and mid, and it still works out because I abuse reactive armor. FDL though, we got to talk about this draft because it's really interesting. They went for the Templar Assassin, not really that off the wall. Very nice mids, physical damage. They've got great roach taking potential on the Dire side, but now they have just quadrupled the physical damage that they have with Troll Warlord. Whole bunch of physical damage out of him, and he amplifies Templar Assassin, Slardar, and Riki's physical damage with his ult. Yes, they are. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Seconds
Mm-hmm.
remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
this game comes down to, for me, basically the Faceless Void and the Slardar post-laning phase. Like, these two heroes have a lot of burden on them.
Have you participated in the new predictions?
No.
All right. Well,
Do I have to own a compendium for that?
Oh, yes, you do.
Okay, well, alright.
All right. Well, we have a pause. You're gonna do it for me. We're gonna have some fun because sometimes I ignore it, but we've got a pause. Prediction number 1: how long will the game be? You've got less than 30, and then 30 to 37, etc., etc. So you give me a prediction how long the game will be.
I don't know, like 40 minutes?
All right, 37 to 44 it is. Number of ancient camps stacked by 30 minutes. We've got Templar Assassin. That is definitely a decent number of stacks at the very minimum.
Yeah, a lot.
11 to 15, 16 to 20.
I would say 11 to 15.
All right.
Or actually, what's the low number? What's the low number?
6 to 10 and 0 to 5.
I'll go with 6 to 10.
Okay. Player with the highest total magic or pure damage done to heroes by 10 minutes.
Magic or pure?
Yeah.
So not physical.
Not physical damage.
Magic or pure?
Spellcaster of some sort.
I don't think that lion's gonna get 6 in time, so I'm definitely not going with him.
Okay.
I will go with...
That's pretty tough because even some of the spells that we have, Troll, Slardar, that's physical damage. The only magic damage dealer you have on FDL is the Oracle.
Yeah, I'm trying to debate right now
I think
if
it's
Oracle...
Viper.
I'm trying to debate if Oracle does more magic damage than a
Lion?
Night Stalker or
Than a Night Stalker, yeah. It could be Darkseer. Just because his damage from Ion Shell, he starts from the very beginning.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with DS. I was thinking about this for a while, but I think snaking just farms. Alright, whatever. Darkseer.
All right, we're locking in.
lock
And
We're locked
last one: will a tower be killed before 10 minutes?
Most definitely.
Yeah, it's got a troll.
Yeah.
Troll and TA.
Yes. Is that
All
the
right.
last one?
Yep, that is the last one.
I feel pretty good about those. The magic or pure one is really weird though in this game because it's highly dependent on this lion. Like,
how many? You're not very often going to say magic damage and put Darkseer or like Viper is actually a contesting hero solely because he's going to get some poison attack and Viper strike damage. That tells you a lot. There's not a whole lot of new damage in this game.
I guess Viper does.
You want to switch it? You have 40 seconds.
Yeah, let's go with. I can't believe I'm picking a Viper. Yeah, let's just do Viper. Let's do this. I believe in Viper. Sure.
Yeah, watch. Clairvoyance is gonna have a monster game. He's gonna have a really fast level 6, and he's just gonna blow it out of the water. And then we're gonna look like fools. I felt like a game show host though.
Clairvoyant?
Yeah. Simple piece.
Oh, okay. I was
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about 747.
Oh no,
It's like I've known that guy for so long. Eric.
747. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even
Eric
realize he was
Dong?
the same person from Dota 1 that I knew. He's this guy named Silly Bear, who used to just like flame everybody. But he's cool now.
That applies
Everybody
to
goes through that. Yeah,
That
everybody
applies
goes
to
through
so
that
many
phase.
people of Dota.
Yeah, everybody goes through that phase.
We're all once angry teenagers locked in our basements.
Yeah,
being
me and this
antisocial.
guy named Sun Crusher said we would like fight each other or something if we ever saw each other. Then I went up to NorCal and we just hung out, had a few drinks together and stuff, and it was completely cool because you realize when you're like 16, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Oh, the magic damage! It starts.
It starts
Here
already
we go.
up. Oh, so you haven't seen the prediction updated yet, have you?
No.
Because you don't have a command. So every single time somebody takes a lead, there will be a little pop-up that says prediction updated, and it'll say like
Oh,
this
the
hero.
747's definitely got to be leading right now.
Well, it's tied up with Snaking right now, as they're actually getting a lot of ion shell damage on the fronts. They're pushing back Omega Poner, but you could see the effect of that Fortune's End. Now, the funny thing is, Oracle hasn't actually been that good of a counter in Darkseer in recent games because the Darkseer's been defaulting into jungle so much, but here we actually are going to see that Purge mechanic put into place against the Ion Shell, against this dual lane of Void Boys.
Yeah, I'm surprised that he's on casting it right now, but it is almost out, and he's going to get pushed back anyways. And this is always going to be the strength of Darkseer, guys, is that you constantly shove in lanes that it makes it hard for you to get gone on. And if you look at FDL's lineup, at this top lane, they don't have any kill potential. It's really hard for them to pick up kills if Void Boys just kind of stays back, because they have really naturally tanky heroes, and Troll isn't the best at contesting.
Right.
But he is going to make his way over now, and Omega Punter is dropping pretty low.
Yeah, this is now going to be going on Snake King, but they don't get the bash, so he's able to get away. At the same time, we were watching mid, where CC and C has been pressured out by 747. That's another thing, right? This dual lane, it keeps the Riki at the top lane, which means that Templar Assassin's getting no help, and this is obviously a favorable matchup for 747.
I don't think there's a point in helping 747 out early, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Or going
You right
against
click a
747.
Viper, you're just getting corrosive skin, and
There's also no kill potential for the TA early on.
yeah.
She doesn't have traps. She's just kind of going to get zoned out anyways. You're better served in the other lanes. So Franz is trying to harass up top to make sure that Snake King gets a slow level 3. This is a hard lane for TA no matter what, even if you have somebody help out.
Well, that's rough. I just watched MJW. I was like, oh man, look at this giant creep wave that's coming in. And he did pull all the melee creeps, unfortunately. All three, and now a fourth range creep are getting pulled to the hard camps. So, but he's doing all right for himself in the off lane, considering he's left alone. CCNC, again, low and almost taken out by 747. He desperately needs some regen being brought to him, and he's going to be zoned down for the next 30 seconds at bare minimum.
Wait, where'd that courier die?
That's a very good question. That would be in the mid lane. Somehow Viper got it killed as he was bringing himself Ring of Bacillus.
That should definitely not happen.
No, that definitely should not.
Yeah, that's a mistake. Just because...
Sideblades still affect the courier?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
should hit.
So that
But-
was maybe it. Mega Poner, he pops dust, try and reveal and slow down the Riki, but looks like a Mega Poner is going to be going down, especially with the bash. That'll be the first blood on Stan King. And Snake King, who used his surge to be able to help out and try and save the Night Stalker, is now in serious trouble as he doesn't have an escape. And Stan King is able to pick up the double kill. FDL finally get and win their tri-lane against the dual lane, making it all worth it for the Riki and the Oracle.
Yeah, it's very good for them to make that move. I am a little surprised that Void Boys decided to contest that lane as hard as they did. I felt like there was a time period where the Night Stalker simply just leaves and you rotate down to the jungle. And the Darkseer is okay with that kind of trade of having 3 heroes up there. Then when the Riki shows mid, you can go back into the lane and contest, but making that decision to constantly stay in the lane doesn't pay off. And it shouldn't. You have 3 heroes that eventually we're gonna.
Oh, they're
pick
gonna
up some
their
measures.
Viper. That is big. Viper. The Riki rotates across as soon as they win that top lane, and apparently his help, thanks to the amped up levels from their win at top, he's able to help get the Templar Assassin kill on the Viper.
Still,
which-
there's no disables.
Yeah.
Like these are just deaths that Void Boys don't necessarily have to have. These are, like in baseball terms, unforced errors, pretty much.
Did I use that term in a cast with us?
Have you?
I
It's a
mean,
good term.
I was using it earlier, but I'm just surprised that you came up with the same term as I did, because I really like that term.
Yeah, we're
in,
cool guys,
in
man.
baseball. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, 747.
Franz.
Yeah, they can't kill him. They should be
thinks
able
better
to
of
if he
that
has full health.
Yeah. That leaves Omega Poner as a very underleveled level 2 Night Stalker, about to pick up level 3. Snaking is going jungle, but he's about to get caught out by Franz. They're going to be able to slow him down and get a second round of nukes from Stan King. That'll be enough to slay the opposing King. Franz tries to juke out the last couple of hits from 747, but not good enough. They trade away kill, but still well worth for FDL.
Yeah, you never. That's a cool thing about this Ricky is that you don't mind if you lose him, because he's naturally just gonna have no net worth, and you're not gonna invest a lot of levels into him. Like, it's not like Ricky gets incredibly strong with levels. That's another cool part about the support is once you have the max smokescreen, you're kind of just okay with that. Like, everything else is the second level of your tricks of the trade isn't gonna be so huge or game impacting that it'll change the state of the game.
Yeah. It's kind of like he was the opposite of Bounty Hunter in some ways. Like, they're so similar and yet kind of the same. We are going to see CNC go down in the mid lane, it looks like, as he's going to be chased down with a combination of poison and ion shell damage, and that'll put Snake King as our new highest magic damage. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Lion in some trouble here. They are going to be able to go on him. Nice double stun. MJW hoping to be able to get close enough for a stun of his own. Will be able to land it. That'll be another kill going the way of FDL. Pat Soul can't do anything to stop this. Does have his level 6, so he's going to be able to lock down the 2 supports. A Mega Punter comes in, gets the extra nuke damage onto Oracle. Hopefully be able to get at least 1 kill here. The disarm, Pat Soul. He probably should still be able to get this kill. And now Franz does get dusted up, tries to juke his way out for the few remaining seconds of dust, but not good enough. Void Boys strike back in the bottom lane.
It was a very good rotation by FDL originally, but when you make that play, you have to understand as well that there's a high potential for the Void to come back in and look for something, and Pat Soul gets a very nice chrono off. I don't mind that rotation from FDL so much, but at the same time, they just stuck around a little bit too long, and the chase, if it brings you to all the way down here, it's almost never going to be worth it.
Yeah, especially against a carry like Void Boy's Faceless Void that can punish you, right, with that big hold. They're going to go on mid lane though, CNC. He's just not had a good tournament, and this is really just the cherry on top to his very bad news cake. He has had not the greatest tournament, and now he has just this terrible matchup where he has to deal with a Viper in lane. Top lane, they're going to go on to Clairvoyance. Looks like they should be able to get the kill with the help of Bisa, and Stan King's actually the one to pick up the last hit.
Looks you notice
like
too that
both
of these heroes... Oh, Franz got dusted.
Yeah, but he's hiding in the trees. Mako Opponent didn't see him. May still be able to.
Oh, he's
runs
gonna find
into
him.
finds him, gets the Void.
Now that's a very farm Night Stalker. Level-wise, he's already level 5. All of a sudden, the pendulum switches the other way, and kills in this phase of the game mean so much more. Like, if you just look at the difference in XP alone, and you just ignore the gold, you'll see that it swings so much in favor of Void Boys. Like, all those high-leveled supports that you had early on from FDL, well, it goes the other way too, just because they're going to feed up a lot.
Right.
As predicted, though, the line's not 6. It's a hard level 6 for a line in this game, in all honesty.
Not until 10 minutes when he gets the tome. And then by then it's too late for our prediction anyway. Franz is going to head to mid. See if he can get some nice aggressive vision down. That's one of the amazing things about Riki, right? Is being able to get aggressive vision down without being spotted out in the process.
Yeah, especially when you're playing Fair side, because eventually you want to just control, I don't know if you can see this, but you want to control that area, just because then you can force them to only farm these 2 camps. It's very effective. That way you can go for sneak Roshans, and that potential is always there just because you have a TA and a Slardar.
He's at the top lane. Oh. Yeah, he's going to be voided up and will end up dying.
That is...
Good rotation from the Faceless Void.
You notice that Void Boys makes this rotation first, but I was just about to say, you want to force whatever heroes out of the safe lane as soon as you possibly can. That's part of what the advantage of having this Faceless Void over the Troll is going to be, is that Troll should just naturally farm a little bit faster, but Faceless Void can always make these rotations when he has Chrono up. And he understands that, like, this 7 to 9 minute mark is very dangerous being in the bottom lane, just because this is what Dire do to Radiant? You're gonna invade this jungle area, get control of it, ward it up like crazy, so it's not even safe to farm these camps at all. You don't want to just be stuck farming these 2 camps. It's better as Radiant to mirror whatever Dire does, rather than just straight up contesting. Because this tower, in the long run of the game, means absolutely nothing.
Now, Clairvoyance is actually stuck around at this bottom.
Oh
Oh my
my
god, he
stun!
managed to get the 3-man stun! 747 underneath the smoke cloud, though, is going to take a lot of physical damage, but he's a tanky sucker, and that's why FDL just have to go for the TPs away. Unfortunately, Claire used both of his disables, so nothing to be able to stop there. I was going to ask you, like, what did you think? Because, you know, we talk about leaving the lane, we talk about, you know, leaving your safe lane and moving out. When do you leave a support there, and when don't you? Because that is something I struggle with. When do you leave a support in the safe lane to soak experience?
I think it's very rare that you should just leave somebody down there. I'm almost always down to just say full retreat, just because that tower doesn't really mean too much. Like it's not. The thing is, at 10 minutes into the game, it'll determine the tempo. Like the first team fight you take, and the first team fight, like you can potentially win or lose. Why would you ever risk it over that tower of all the towers? Like you'd prefer to risk it over the mid-tier 1 tower because it means so much more. And 747's gonna get gone on.
There's going to be jumps.
This is what we're
here.
talking about. Don't be in this bottom lane.
Super tanky, but it's not going to be good enough, and there's no TP, so there's not even a hope of a save. Finally, a TP comes in, but it's too late. The Slither and Crush will finish him off. Pat Soul, he's here. He's got the Chronosphere, and he will go straight for Stan King for the kill, trying to finish him off before the ult goes down, but it's not good enough. The ult and a potential save now with the heal. We'll have to see if Stan King is able to outdo the damage done by Pat Soul, and sure enough he is. Now the turnaround gets a nuke out. Pat Soul, low on mana, only has one more time walk into him. Not forced to use it though. FDL do manage to get the punishment onto the Viper, but Void Boys are holding onto their safe lane tower. I know you said that doesn't mean too much. They are actually going to lose their offlane tower if they're not careful, but I guess it's something.
The big thing here, though, is that they rotated, they used Chronosphere, they still lost the Viper at the end of the day. They're getting their top lane pressured in during this entire time. CCNC can get some farm as well. Like, I just am not a fan of fighting around that.
Kill on Visa. He's going to be able to soak up enough mana from him to be able to get the finger, and that will ensure the kill. So they stopped their offlane tower from going down. This is something that, like, once upon a time, like Alliance did, right? They were one of the few teams that never gave up their safe lane tower. Do you think the Viper has something to do with that? The fact that they have, like, this truck of a hero at 10 to 15 minutes that they feel comfortable doing something like that?
Yeah, for sure, but at the same time, if you're gonna make these kinds of plays, you have to understand, like, look, every single time, where has FDL been? Like, where's their preferred fighting region been? It's always been this bottom lane. This is the 4th fight in a row that they've taken at this area. So if you know that, you have to come here as 5.
And this time around, they're not going to be able to get the punishment with the Chronosphere. Doesn't mean, though, that Void Boys can still win the fight. Night Stalker, who has been super leveled up thanks to that, what was it, around like 6 minutes, 8 minutes or something. He had a really good swing where he was able to be a part of so many kills. He is a very impactful hero as well, right next to that Viper at this point in the game.
They still lost the Darks here, though, and more importantly, now you lost your mid-tier 1 for pretty much free. Like,
yeah.
CCNC just walked in there, did a lot of physical damage to a tier 1 mid tower, and took it. Like, that was super casual, because they have to make all of these weird rotations around the map. Like, Void Boys are still in an okay position, but they should be in a much better one, considering how the early mid game went.
Right.
So you notice, again, look what FDL's gonna do. This isn't unique or anything. They're just gonna go to this bottom lane, get control of this area because they have a Riki. They understand that there's no way that Radiant can keep up in ward vision against a Riki, and so you're always gonna fight around where you have vision. And if you look at where FDL have vision, it's this bottom area. This is the correct play to do, and Void Boy's response should be, if we're gonna defend this area, we have to be here as 5, otherwise you're just losing heroes pointlessly.
Yeah, they certainly can't leave Pat Soul here as he's going to get smoked up inside with the block. Now, Snake King might be able to break down the trees and give Pat Soul a way to freedom. Now, Franz, he used his ultimate, will be able to get the jump away, so he wasn't immediately targeted. Void Boys still have the dust on him, but it's going to wear out soon. Looks like they are going to try and run him down. He throws out the smoke, be able to cover himself a little bit longer, and the dust is going to be able to fade. Hopefully he escapes from there. What we call a CCNC. He's going to be chased down, has Stan King's ultimate, but it's not going to be enough unless refraction, a little bit dodge, but no way. He's surrounded by too many heroes and too many ways to eat through that refraction, thanks in most part to the Ion Shell. Now with that win, Void Boys might be able to take an objective in mid-tier 1.
Yeah, And now you see Void Boys are prepared for the 5-man fight. That's exactly what you want to see. If you're going to defend that bottom area, get there as 5, always. Protect it as a group. Otherwise, you're just feeding away heroes to get solo picked off by a Riki initiation, and that's the worst thing in this game. Because Void Boys can simply just run over FDL, like you said. They have a Viper and a Darkseer that's going to frontline for them. This Darkseer has a mech now completed. It's very hard for FDL to get into straight engagements. That's not what FDL wants to do. FDL wants to look for these mini pick-off on core heroes, go for a free Roshan at 15 minutes into the game, then start to tempo set. Because they need the Roshan to get into these fights, because they simply only have this one primary mode of initiation. So when you have something like that, it's very... The objective has to be clear for Void Boys. 5-man like crazy. Make it so that Franz can't do anything in these engagements.
Franz is currently watching Bisa being gone on. He's going to throw down the static storm, or the cloud, to make sure that Clairvoyance isn't able to get the follow-up disables, and they will save their troll. And that'll leave MJW free to farm the bottom lane. You are correct, though. Void Boys doing a lot of 5-manning right now. Still looking for the fight. Still have their Chronosphere as well. And let's talk about the Battle Fury, because that is something about Faceless Void carry, is that there are 2 different major builds you can go for, and now apparently a third with the B Fury. What's the point of this? As opposed to Vanguard Radiance, as opposed to the Diffusal Blade Manta build.
It's kind of just like a single core Void, that's why. 747 can help out, so it's kind of a dual core, but... And this is a very good trade for FDL, because like we talked about, they desperately need this Roshan. And when you flash 5 heroes up at top, this is just what's going to happen, but... I do like the Battle Fury just because he's going to continue to scale.
Right.
And he needs to. This is a game that could potentially go on later just because FDL has very easy ways to do Roshan. And that's pretty scary for Void Boys.
Yeah, Void Boys, you would say they missed out on the first Roshan, but the second Roshan they definitely can't give up, right? They've got to be the ones controlling the map, taking the tier 1 and tier 2 at bottom lane, limiting the control of FDL. Jump forward, Patzel is going to be able to get the Chronosphere with the Ion Shell, quickly eating through that refraction, pull back with the vacuum, and CC is dead and may end up dying a second time here. He's going to come back straight into the wall there with the double Ion Shell, very quickly eating through his HP. The turnaround though, Stanking is going to be able to provide the save. They turn onto Snaking, almost popping him, and with the Riki they will be able to do so. Patzel has to jump himself away, and FDL, they not only get the save, but the turnaround kill on Snaking, and now they're going to go for that tier 1, which surely Void Boys will not contest this time.
No, there's absolutely no way. You have to start getting out already. Still, it's a very good pop of the Aegis. That's never how you want to use an Aegis just for tier 1. You want to use it to instill fear. It's kind of like the Tidehunter effect or the Enigma effect. You know, when they just simply having Black Hole or Ravage will scare the enemy team when they're behind. Having an Aegis will do almost the exact same thing, but FDL doing the smart thing here, going for 2 towers. But goodbye, Franz.
Wrong part of town, my friends. He gets instantly popped by the Finger of Death. And now, like, I pointed to... 5 minutes from now, because I thought FDL were going to be able to hold on to the Aegis, and as you said, it was going to be that fear, that kind of fear factor where Void Boys couldn't aggressively take control because they'd be fighting into an Aegis. Now that's gone. Do you think this is now where they start maybe aggressively 5-manning towards bottom and mid? They start going for some towers? Do you think they still need some time to farm?
I think Void Boys is in a good position to just take fights right now.
Okay.
Like, their Darkseer has the items that he's going to want to have. You just kind of need him to be a tanky beast. Right now, the annoying thing for FDL is that all 3 of the cores from Void Boys, as long as they all don't get Slithering crushed, are going to be incredibly hard to take down. You've got this Patzel who's got Time Walk and a Blink Dagger now, so he's going to be sitting in the back. This Viper has 1600 HP and max corrosive skin. Darkseer has a mech, a lot of HP on him as well. So for FDL, you have to look for these mini engagements using your Slardar Blink Dagger, and probably one of your primary cores for DPS. Most likely it's going to just be this Templar Assassin, because it looks like they're just allowing Bisa to farm in this game.
Troll ultimate going down while he farms away. FDL keeping the map relatively split. They're trying to keep the bottom lane well pushed out. They actually no ancient stack, surprisingly enough, happening despite having a TA on dire side.
Yeah. The reason why I placed that number kind of low is just because if you think about it this way, if Void Boys is ahead, neither team will stack.
Right.
Like, neither team really cares about it. Void Boys don't really care about it. FDL can't. Because when you're behind in a game, oh, they're going to pick off a Mega Poner.
Yeah, he's done for. They pop the Troll ultimate, and that is very good with Riki, too. If we actually see some progression in items, that will be a dangerous duo.
Yeah. But for Dire, these are the only 2 camps, if you're behind, that you can farm.
Right.
So if Radiant just get like 1 ward over here or 1 ward over here, the game becomes really hard for them to stack. And Void Boys don't really care about stacks because it slows down the pace of the game. The reason why I asked you to go lower than the original like stupidly high amount that we had was just because of that reason alone.
You thought Void Boys was going to take control, and
yeah, but I did think they would have gone for the stacks like using the Riki.
Yeah,
but they haven't at all. Did we lose our first one, by the way? Snaking was number 1.
When it came to magic damage, that was Stan King on the Oracle.
Oh,
yeah,
so close.
Yeah, Oracle did a lot. I have no idea. I mean, he didn't even do that much. 2,000 magic damage by 10 minutes.
That's very low.
That's very low, but we already kind of went over that. We're wrong about the stack by 30 minutes, so we still have 10 more minutes, but there's only been 1 stack so far of Ancients.
Alright, we lost.
Yeah, we definitely lost. And the game, 37 minutes to 44, so still a chance to be able to win at
That's
least
the
one.
One cap. That's the important. I'm all in on that one.
Hey, whoa, we got will a tower be killed before 10 minutes? We definitely got that one.
Oh,
we're good.
nice, nice.
So
These are
guaranteed
so
1,
random.
maybe 2.
These are honestly so random.
No, they are. They're literally random, I believe.
Oh, this is just so people can make fun of us when we get wrong.
Well,
I like that.
I think it was supposed to be for people to have fun watching games, but yeah, that's what it turned into.
Dude, I would just...
There's nothing better than... Because it pops up at the end of the game, too. There's nothing better when the game pops up and I just see all red, incorrect. I'm like, thanks, Valve.
It's affirmation, man. You know who's the best at this is actually, surprisingly, is like Toby. I see Toby... Oh, bottom. That was so greedy.
Now he is very dead for his greed.
They should be able to defend this top tier too as well.
Well, they're defending top and they're gonna go on mid. Void Boy's keeping this really fast pace. Now, he is able to get off his ultimate, but he's still gonna be dusted for a little bit longer. Few more seconds, gets off the smoke, the stun comes out, and the poison... Okay, never mind, there's a counter ward. I didn't click on Clairvoyance enough. He had 1 counter ward left, and that was enough to get the kill.
You see the difference in styles now? That really starts to show, because FDL, they're trying to split up the map because they know they have to.
Yeah.
In a straight 5-on-5, they would get whomped by Void Boys, even if Void Boys took a mediocre fight. So they try to go for these risky plays by pushing out lanes really aggressively. I don't mind that, but the bottom one was so dangerous because CCNC was right next to that tier 2 tower. It was almost certain it's going to be worth it for Void Boys to punish that.
And that's why it was so good, right, that Void Boys acted really quickly. They got that pick off on bottom, but then they also defended top and got the pick on middle, successfully winning like 3 different lanes, and now off those 2 kills are able to get some control of the map and take an objective for themselves.
Yeah. I mean, if you just looked at this game, like the way that it was going to go, it's hard for FDL to win because so much revolves around this Roshan for them. Like they have to get control of this Roshan pit area. It's kind of their only way to get back into this game because in a straight 5-on-5 fight, which is a lot of what Dota boils down to nowadays, they're just going to get crushed. They don't have the best ways to start fights. Sorry, go on.
I was having a conversation about this on the panel earlier. I said, like, split pushing, it just really doesn't feel effective in this current meta. You split push what you want, but ultimately it comes down to the enemy team's going to get that one team fight and everything you did is kind of undone. They're going to take objectives. Do you agree? It feels like, is it FDL's play, or is it the idea of split pushing just not really being affected for this patch?
I think right now split pushing is no longer in vogue. Like, you even see teams like Team Secret, which was the split pushing team, just get into these straight on 5-on-5 engagements now, and this is going to be the game determining fight right now, but they're going to get spotted coming in.
Franz, he's going to be spotted out, almost instantly pop plus now the 4-man Chronosphere, and surely this is not the mediocre fight that maybe FDL could have won. We see Void Boys very clearly taking this one. They will be able to get the TP out onto the Templar Assassin, who almost dies inside the fountain, but at least they have 1 survivor. It looks like 2. As Troll's going to be able to get out. Stan King is not going to be one of those survivors, though. Right outside the Roshan pit, fortunately, or unfortunately rather,
check it again! Check it again!
Check it again?
They see it.
Wait, he's hot, right? Claire?
Did he not get in?
I think it was in that awkward middle ground. There's like, you know, this middle ground area where, and it's so weird because it's the fastest possible Roshan. So Void Boys are probably like, yeah, it's unlikely to be up right now. They just check in, to, you know, just to make sure, and they're like, oh no, not there.
I'd feel reasonable in calling game if they took that Roshan.
Yeah.
Like I would say, I would feel really comfortable in saying the game's over. And I will say that I was kind of okay with FDL's move because at some point you have to take a fight on the side of FDL, and if you look at their items, they had just kind of hit like an okay amount of progression.
Yeah.
And they were hoping to just find 1 or 2 heroes jungling, but man, that's the ball game.
The 4-man Chronosphere, man.
Yeah.
Well, like
defending
the
this
there,
Roshan
where they
now.
let Franz come a little deeper. They get the vacuum. All set up into the big time chrono. And now Roshan control is going to be even harder. Sure, Void Boys didn't actually get to take Roshan for themselves, and FDL still have an opportunity to take it, but they're now fighting into an Aghanim's Night Stalker. And we all know how big that is around these cliff areas. That clear vision does wonders for control of the Roshan pit.
Yeah. Scary thing for the Stasis Void as well is, or scary thing about FDL's lineup is there's no, what is the big ability that they're going to hit to turn things around for them? If you just look at their lineup. So you just have to kind of run your head against the wall and take another fight that even if you know it's unlikely, you just sort of have to do because you have to get control of this Roshan area at all costs.
Right. FDL doing something kind of smart. They spoke up. They try and take the Radiant high ground here, and ideally they're able to get the wraparound on Void Boys while they're on the low ground, but that's just not the case. They're in the river now, but FDL kind of given up on that pursuit. Maybe they gotta wrap it back around to their secret shop. Void Boys. I mean, this is the difference, right? Is that Radiant versus Dire. Radiant, in order to get some better control of the Roshan pit, you push out mid, right? As a 5-man, and you just you cut them off from being able to take Roshan.
Yeah, somebody has to defend this right now. They're gonna see, they're gonna see Bisa. Knight's unfortunately over, which I think it'll force them to wait. I don't think there's any reason to fight while it's daytime for Void Boys. They can just kind of keep control of this area because farm doesn't matter right now. It simply doesn't. Like you'll farm some side camps and stuff like that, and you'll push out lanes. But for the most part, all they're doing right now is gearing up for this 5-on-5 potential fight in the brush pit.
You be efficient with the time you have, but you don't let that efficiency draw you into a bad fight or a pick-off. And CC, he's keeping the bottom lane pushed. That's the way the Dire side can try and get some control of the Roshan pit, try and force someone back to defend that tier 2 or the top lane, which is currently pushing out because of a heal troll priest. All right. I mean, anything helps, right?
Yeah, because that is what you're
moving.
trying to do.
It's actually not enough.
Oh, alright, so what's the timer right now? If Void Boys take this Roshan fight, then...
Well, we're certainly not getting the stack.
Oh, this is really smart. So what Snake King's gonna do is he's gonna Ion Shell the other creep, walk back to the Roshan pit. He should just start surging himself over right now. Instead he's gonna TP, and this is gonna force FDL to have to deal with this top lane, or else if Void Boys decides to win a fight and then they go for the top lane push, they'll already be in base, and they'll lose no time. And this is going to be a fight that FDL, they're going to lose, but they have to take. Like, there's maybe a 5% chance that they can win this fight, but you have to gamble on that because if you give Void Boys Roshan right now, like you give an Aegis to a Viper, you're going to lose high ground. Probably 2 sets.
It's already starting bad. Franz is going to be caught here by a Mega Poner. They turn around, get the stun. They think about going for the bot, but they realize he's too tanky, and that just sets things up again for the vacuum.
Here's the Ravage.
3-man stun and everything else coming out from Void Boys. They're going to be able to run down Beast at the big carry of FDL and chase down whoever else they can get. Now Franz is game. Oh no, he just ran into some counter vision. They're going to be able to catch him. He's dead, and that just leaves our Templar Assassin in Slaughter, who needs Aegis. Void Boys are going to go high ground without it, seeing as they just won the fight.
This is... Yeah, you don't care about Aegis right now. You just killed 3 heroes. At worst, what happens right now is that FDL buys back on all 3, and you just go you take the Roshan.
Yeah. And then you can go high ground again with Aegis and the enemy team not having buyback.
Yeah. This is just strategical win more than anything. Like, this is just getting outdrafted, and it's very hard for FDL to take this fight, but they're gonna come in anyways. There's no chrono on the side of Void Boys, so they feel pretty confident, but CC's got to be careful.
CC slowed down, brought back by the vacuum. He'll just be right-clicked away until finally the Oracle save comes in. He should be able to survive. FDL looking for something, but
They've got to chase.
yeah, they've
You
got
have to push them out of this Roshan area.
Clairvoyance does manage to get a two-man stun. Franz on the front lines is going to try and help get Clairvoyance. They are going to be able to pop him, it looks like, when we're like right-click. CC is able to do it. Stanking. Oh, they actually surround 747. This is a lot of physical damage laid into the Viper. They will be able to get that one kill and a bash. That'll stop snaking. That is a big pickup that FDL will now finally be able to take control of the Roshan pit and get the Aegis into their hands, which is a necessity for their strategy.
And Void Boys was really weirdly split up in that fight. You could see that two of the heroes from Void Boys wanted to take that engagement, and the other three were just like, no, we're not going to do that. But Snake King was eventually baited into that fight. They're going to have this chrono available though, and Void Boys is thinking about taking this fight. They're going to be too late though.
Just a little bit too late. Now Pat Soul time walked in and won't be able to time walk out. Jump forward, finding a Mega Poner. All of a sudden, everything is going wrong for a minute. Oh my god. How did this all go so wrong? One fight, and then Void Boys trying to get greedy when they don't need to and contest the Roshan pit, and all of a sudden 5 heroes are dead. FDL have the Aegis, and they're going to take control of this game.
That is the beautiful part about Dota, is yes, you know, there was a very good chance that Void Boys was going to win this game, but you can mess up, and Void Boys just got a little bit sloppy and overconfident. No game is ever gifted to you, Cap. You have to work for every single win, from start to finish. And Void Boys, they just kind of got a little bit sloppy. They decided that they were going to try to like take a 2-on, 3-on-5 fights, then they did it again, like 2 seconds later. They lost cores all around the map, and they're still in a very good spot, but man, not really sure what to
Yeah, it's gonna get tougher and tougher, right? Because the FDL do have some really good scaling cores with the Troll Warlord. Now he's actually tanking up. If he can actually survive through the Chronosphere, then that's where team fights can start turning the way of FDL. Yep, they
They
did.
actually just got team wiped. That okay, Void.
Blitz Dota is at a loss of words that this game has turned against him, but
that was like a 7k swing of both things. All they had to do, the thing is, I'm even okay with that first loss of 3 heroes, because you can recover. But it's the immediate taking of a 2-on-4 Roche fight with no vision that... And they risked the gem. That's the big thing about the Night Stalker. You just cut the effectiveness of this hero in half for no reason.
Yeah, they're not going to have another gem for a little while. In fact, 5.5 minutes.
And Void Boys they're afraid now to take a fight. Like literally 2 minutes ago, they were on top of the world. They're like...
And now Visa is right-clicking away their tier 2s, and looks like FTL. Don't tell me. All right. It looks like half of them maybe wanted to try and go high ground or something,
guys,
but no.
Don't learn your lessons. Stick together.
Yeah.
History repeats itself in Dota. Just stick together.
Yeah, because if you're FTL, you're just fine with the game stretching out, right?
Well, now you are. Like before, you were like.
Before you knew there was a very clear advantage for Void Boys, and you had to upset that before they went high ground. But now you're over the hump, right? Where you could just look towards the late game, and that's where you can win this game.
Do you remember that movie with Bow Wow where he's just some like shitter kid, and then he becomes like a basketball pro?
Because he finds the shoes.
Yeah, it was called Like Mike, right?
Yeah, I didn't actually watch it, but I saw the preview. That's what this is.
That's what this is. It's like you go to sleep and you're playing basketball against your kid and you're stomping him because he's like 13. Then all of a sudden you find these magic shoes. What happened? That's how ridiculous this is. The premise of this movie is reminding me of this situation.
Well, this is why Dota is a beautiful game, right? Comebacks. Dota is a game of mistakes. You gotta close it out. You gotta make sure to stay disciplined in one momentary lapse of concentration, and Void Boys have lost all control of the game that should have been theirs to win. 34 minutes in, 19-15, and FDL are swarming all over the place, farming efficiently, just trying to get that next round of items. Speaking of items, what should that be for FDL? Because, right, it's Void Boys, they gotta fight, their progression in items. It doesn't mean as much for their heroes. FDL, what about them, though?
Probably grab a BKB on the Slardar.
Yeah. What about the Troll? You think he needs one, too?
I think he's kind of okay without it. If you need at least 2 of your cores to have BKB though in this game, so that the Oracle has an easy choice,
Right.
in terms of who he can false promise. Like if only one of your cores does, things become a little bit wonky. And all 3 of these cores want to be face first in a game like this. So you see the Slardar pick one up. I'm perfectly okay with that. If this Troll wants to go for evasion or an AC or something, I'm kind of okay with that decision, or going for the BKB. Either of those make sense.
Yeah. And even little old Ricky here scaling. He's got a diffusal blade. He's happy. He's outputting damage. He's getting information. That's all Ricky needs to do. Even though he is second lowest net worth, only to be outdone by poor Clairvoyance, who has really taken the warding duty to heart here. Hasn't even gotten a blink dagger for himself yet. Which is going to be needed against these BKBs. You need that kind of instant disable, so they need to find a space for him to farm that up.
Alright, so Void Boys right now, they're scratching their heads. They're like, guys, we had a 5k lead and a 5k XP lead. Of course they can't know that, but it has swung so far the other way. It's like a 10k difference in this Roshan.
Yeah.
And that, as a team, you have to kind of be reeling and going like, ugh. And it feels bad. It honestly does.
Yeah.
So you have to recover though, understand that the team fight is very strong still for Void Boys. Like they're still in a really good spot to take fights around the chrono. That's not really an issue. They still have a lot of damage on their side. Their Viper's still just a tanky guy. He's got an Assault Cuirass, a Manta. They've got a mech backing them up as well. Just main issue right now for them lies in the fact that they're not really sure how to take fights anymore.
Yeah.
Like there was that confidence before, but now they're afraid that if they lose one fight, they've lost that cushion of being able to lose one fight. That was the one fight that you're able to lose. It's gone. So if you lose this next fight, that could just mean the game because they've got a troll on the other team.
So they need to find a way to pick themselves up emotionally and still force this fight and catch FDL, but unfortunately this rush through their jungle is not going to be the one, and partially that's going to be because they lost that gem. The vision of Void Boys is scouting their rotation out.
I was just about to say that. It was even bigger that they lost the gem. Because if you can take away vision from FDL, then you can put them into a position where you can go for these chrono setups again, and FDL will have very poor vision. It's very unlikely that they're going to be able to take a straight, like, clean fight. But with the gem going on the side of FDL in the hands of a team that features a Ricky, it's almost impossible for Void Boys to move around the map safely. Because they don't know if they're just being watched right now, Cap. So now they're in a position where they pretty much have to wait for this next gem before they want to get into an engagement. I think that's the better idea rather than going for this headlong fight right now. And you notice too that Void Boys, things are falling apart a little bit. Like Pat Soul now has this plate mail, but they have this AC completed, Snake King as a plate mail. So are both of them going to go Shivas? Like Shivas on Faceless Void doesn't sound ideal to me. Of course, it's very good on the Dark
Is Lotus Orb even good in this game? It removes amp damage, I guess, but
I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah.
Just for that fact alone. You do need armor though. That's the weird part. Like all of these cores need armor more than HP.
Yeah.
And like it was never supposed to get to this point though, where they had to think about 3rd and 4th and 5th items.
Right. Their lineup definitely is not supposed to scale. MJW, he's the one running around with the gem that they stole from Clairvoyance in that nasty fight that turned the game. He is looking to be able to catch them vision, but unfortunately he doesn't have that clear vision that Night Stalker has. So the Roshan vision from Void Boys will stay up. They finally have themselves another gem, so they can start taking some control of this game. But
you notice that they waited for the gem. Like you said, there's no other facet of fighting. It's not like item progression will help you out right now. Void Boys knows that you take a fight. That's the best possible scenario. And you're seeing, it looks like he's going to go for an MKB. Night Stalker missed chance. It's not bad.
All right, this is your opportunity. Void Boys, they can take Roshan for themselves if they can
this is
get
a
the
free
right
pick-off.
pick-off. If they get the right team fight, they can even just go high ground. But
what?
smoke pops, and they actually don't get to see the Riki. The Night Stalker not leading the way well enough.
They had to lead with NS there.
Yeah.
He's got your eggs and your gem. There's no other hero that should lead those fights like that. That was a freebie. Franz was trajectory was straight at them. Then Franz sees the smoke pop and he's like, "Wait, I'm not dead."
Yeah. And that just buys FDL a little bit more time, and maybe that's some of the mental fortitude falling down for Void Boys. They can't seem to pick themselves up and operate at the efficiency that they were before. They were playing confident, they were making the right moves, and now they're suffering, and well, they're going to be gifted a kill. Franz, this time around, will be scouted out by it. Now he's able to defuse a blade off the silence, buy himself time with the ultimate, and jump back to his team. So it's not actually a free kill, but they are going to move forward, up into the high ground. The smoke cloud does go down. Pat Soul's going to go straight for the Oracle, but
rest of his
meanwhile,
team.
the physical damage carries of FDL, they're just going to start ripping through these heroes. Finally, they get their Chronosphere. Now they're turning around. A 3-man Chrono from Pat Soul managed to save this fight. They're going to try and finish off Pizza, but no! The Oracle actually provides a save, and that means 747 doesn't stand a chance in hell. He ends up going down. Snake King with the amp damage. He's also going to fall, and just like that, FDL win the crucial fight that they needed to fully take control of this game. The odds of them winning have just flipped from 5% to now 95%. They're going to take an Aegis for themselves, and Void Boys, they are the ones now praying for a miracle.
That you have to stay together with cores. He has to understand the rest of the Void Boys cores. Like Viper's a very immobile hero. He's not going to be able to help out, and Darkseer's always going to fight where the majority of the fight's taking place. So the Faceless Void has to stay with the rest of his team, because when he goes on that side mission, I understand what he's trying to do there. He's trying to make it so that the Oracle can't get the False Promise off, but getting that 3-4-man Chrono off, killing 2 heroes, then you can isolate whoever gets False Promised.
Right.
And just play that kite game. The bigger thing is getting this Slardar out of the way, more than this Oracle. We just talked about how much the Slardar represents for FDL, right? Like, this guy represents all your stun, most of your damage from this Amplify, and like Troll and TA, those are whatever heroes. Like, yeah, they're kind of annoying, but you can kite those heroes and eventually kill them. But the Slardar is going to be your main source of nuisance, and have to stay with the rest of your team. And now Void Boy's in a position where they're going to have to fight against a Troll with Aegis. We talked about it. He doesn't have to go BKB because he's always going to have this False Promise. So he goes to the DPS item instead. He's got an Aegis with the False Promise now. So now one of the other cores from FDL, most likely the Slardar, we just talked about how important he is. Now you're in a position where you're going to potentially have to kill him twice because he's got a cheese as well.
Jumps forward, manages to get the stun onto the line. Looks like he's going to try pop him with the help of CC. They get him. Now the BKB activated. Chronosphere, they're going to focus on MJW, but there's the False Promise save. MJW still going to be able to get the cheese off and heal himself up completely. Pat Soul with his Manta fighting up against CC will be able to get that kill. And that is a hero without the extra life. So now 4 versus 5. Void Boys continue to start moving forward, seeing if they can pick up some extra kills. That'll be the supports first. MJW turning around. Beast is actually going to come in. They rip through Omega Poner. Now look towards the Clairvoyant stun in the back. The Lion will be able to get himself away. Beast has to focus on whatever's in front of him. That's going to be Pat Soul. He gets a bash. Can he get another one underneath that silence? It doesn't matter. They hold him long enough. He can't get the time walk away. And Beast chases back the Viper while his team goes for Snake King. Snake King locked in. Is going to be purged up. No surge away for him. And seems like Void Boys are going to be losing a lane of Rax. They've only got a buyback on Void, and I'm pretty sure that's not enough from stopping FDL.
They already used it on the Darkseer, and I really like that FDL took that fight 4v5 because they realized we can't afford to lose all these heroes and this gem. Like, there's no chance that FDL is going to give it up, so they decide to regroup. They know that the Chronosphere has already been used. Once again, Pat Soul decides to go for Stan King, who's so happy about that because his Slardar is just wrecking everybody right now.
Yeah, you saw the amp damage put on the Night Stalker. Bisa turns, even ranged form. Night Stalker didn't stand a chance. He
They're
ends
gonna
up
lose 2
going
sets.
down. They're going to go for 2 lanes of Rax. And Darkseer's just down for too long. The Night Stalker and Lion are about to come back up. 747 starts trying to hit Bisa. Can't even seem to do it though. No damage coming out. FDL will just take the clean escape though. They learn from Void Boys' mistakes. They're going to take the lane of Rax at bottom and just the melee at mid before backing away, making sure no one gets caught.
Any engagement right now, even a half decent one where they kill the Void or the Darkseer is pretty much death sentence for Void Boys. Like that's ball game. You're not gonna be able to recover against that. And 2 sets of racks, that is so much gold on the side of FDL right now. Like everybody is so rich on their side. CC's got this Monkey King bar completed. He's got 2,400 gold on top of that. Buybacks aplenty. You see no scaling from the side of Void Boys. This casual plate mill hasn't been able to turn into anything for either of the cores. And now FDL, just go top.
Yeah. No need to get fancy. Don't need a smoke pickoff. Don't really need anything. Just 5-man push top. Use this Aegis while you still have it. And Void Boys don't have a gem because that was also taken away from them.
Yeah. So this Night Stalker is not really a hero anymore.
Yeah.
Because he's not meant to do anything against these pushes. What information is he gonna give his team? Hey guys, they're all top. Like
yeah. And Void Boys, I do like this decision where they're trying to get aggressive,
play
with
for the
this
win.
ward up and see if they can get the fight. Oh, once again, he's going to go for Pat Soul and even Chronospheres, and that means the rest of the team are just going to get torn apart. FDL, they go straight for one, manage to take out the Night Stalker, now look towards Pat Soul.
That's the game.
He's going to be controlled up unless he gets off the BKB, which he does now, turns fights, but vacuum wall, that's a good one, coming out from Snaking, but can it take the fight? 747, he seems to be beaten on by CC and MJW, gets off the Manta, but he just can't seem to output the damage, and that's it. It's all over. Void Boys, they had themselves a really good lead. We thought this was their game in the bag for #1 of the series, but not so. FDL, they win it 45 minutes and 33 seconds.
That Void Boys